Here we are again with my good friend Cheryl as we explore all things ascension and open up with the intention to just share what we're experiencing as we do this journey of ascending into our highest selves so that we can hopefully assist and support and inspire others into their highest selves. So thank you, Cheryl, for doing this again with me. I love this. It's like instead of tea time, it's like it's coffee time.
Right? Oh, coffee is gone already. Oh, thank you
And
so much for having me again. I always love these chats.
oh my gosh, I do too. I look forward to it so much. And to be able to spend time with high vibrational people such as yourself. It really, as we come together, it just amplifies the energy. And that is just such a blessing and gift in itself. So let's just dive into it, Cheryl.
Mm.
What we just did that. We actually just did a process. So I call it a process. Sometimes it comes in as an attunement, sometimes it's an activation. Maybe we can even talk a little bit about the difference between activations and attunements and how they both are they work together hand in hand to support our energetic bodies to hold these higher vibrations. That happens to be one of my big gifts. I play in this all the time. It always comes through differently. I I'm it's like spirit surprises me every time. I think how can this be different again? It's always different. It's always magical. And it truly always feels like a gift. And I don't know about you, but what we could talk a little bit about what you've been experiencing this week and how it kind of connects to the activation that we just did together. But before we dive into that, I just want to just touch on energy and how we do hold a vibration and we are energy that fluctuates in vibration, and just to see the value in that because I feel that this is something that is overlooked. And for me, other than my children, of course, but my energy, I have learned to see just how valuable it is and to really connect to your signature essence and to when you feel isolated or alone or you're not sure what to do, that is an opportunity to really get to know the energy that makes you you and to explore how you can, well, first of all, get to know it, and then how can you elevate it by going inwards, by doing these activations and attunements, and how magical it really is to connect to your highest self, and how it can truly elevate you out of any situation and help you see things from a higher perspective. So I just felt the need to just share that because we put so much value on things and and our energy is truly a special part of us. And when you really nurture and step into your highest vibration, how that really does leave an imprint on the world.
So, can I then ask a question
Yeah.
about, how so when you are digging deep, what does that look like to you? Like, what does that look like to somebody that really maybe not doesn't understand what that looks like
Okay.
on an energetic level?
Mhm. Mhm. I get it. I get it. Um So for myself, how it really started, honestly, was to just because I didn't know. I was just I was exploring this as so many people are just starting to dive into it. So this is where you rely on other people who have experience. So our intuitives, our DNA activators, there's a lot of people online that you can follow and do these guided meditations. So you could do these DNA activations. So I just started essentially by doing just that. I was actually Lori Spagna is the first person that I started to follow online and do these DNA activations, and we're going back years, back to 2015, and just listen. The best part is all you have to do is give yourself however long the activation is and just listen to the meditation. I honestly always fell asleep during these because my body was just like it was a lot to process. So it just, if you go into it, just I'm going to receive and allow these energies to flow through you. And then when the activation was done, it was always magical because all of a sudden I'd wake up right when at the tail end of it, so I knew something happened. And it was in that moment that I would connect to how I'm feeling. So that was my highest frequency that I can hold in that now moment. And that was how I started to get to know that that is the essence of my highest self, an expression of source. And it just felt so good. I felt rejuvenated and alive, and I could tackle on whatever needed to happen. So I made a point to do one of these every day. So I'd have them, my favorite ones would be pre-recorded, and I do it over and over and over, knowing and trusting that source intelligence was going to activate me into its fullest potential in every now moment. And then as the day goes on, yes, your vibration will lower because you're hit with challenges and distractions, and we live in this web of energy. So it will influence your energy. And as you start to do this journey consciously and practice over and over and over, you can start to tap in to that energy yourself and hold on to it and know what's yours and what isn't yours. And just by claiming that and just saying, okay, that's not my energy, that's your energy. I'm going to hold my highest vibration. And that's where attunement comes in. You kind of ask your high self, okay, attune me to my highest vibration, and just get quiet and just allow the intelligence to do it for you, because it really is a co-creation between you here, mini me on earth, and my high self. And as we attune into oneness, that's when the magic happens. And the more you play with it, the easier it gets, just like riding a bike. Then it just becomes a part of your daily practice. So going back to what you said earlier, get to know your energy. If you don't know how, follow somebody, do activation so you can get to know what that is in your highest vibration. And then just make it part of your daily practice, and then see how that evolves, because I can guarantee you my energy it's still me, but it's definitely higher, and it can always go higher. And to explore what that is for you.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love it. So you talk a lot about going deep, and I love that you have this beautiful process and this meditation. But my struggle, and something that I've been working on this week, is allowing that surrender in that moment. So having this activation, it was beautiful. You get to be in the moment and experience that beautiful level of energy, but you have to also be able to surrender, and that in itself is a practice. Just
It's the hardest one.
it
I'll be, yes. So when we talk about ascending into higher dimensions and holding these really high frequencies and really assimilating with our highest self, that is the most important part of it, is surrendering, getting outside of that need to control and just allowing things to unfold and be. And that really is the key to freedom, because that's when you start to live and flow with the universe and in oneness. And you start to, it's like everything just opens up and you see how interconnected everything is. And it's a different way of living, and it's very real. More and more people are doing it, but the key is to let go of control, and get out of that programmed mind and just listen to what your next right step is and then follow through. And you're right, divine timing, it could be like I was gifted. Still remember when I had a dream where I was gifted the gift of prophecy, and my gifts, my guides usually bring it through during when I'm in a sleep state, and it's right when I'm about to wake up. And I just remember waking up, and this voice just said oracle, and it started to like move away as I was waking up. I'm like, what? What's that? What does that mean? And then I start to have these visions, and then I'd let it go. Like you said, surrender. I'm like, okay, what does that mean? Do I need to figure it out? I've learned just like let it go, because this is the game, right? This is how we dissolve the veil of separation. Spirit's showing me something. I don't know what that means. I find it interesting and curious. Okay, I'm just going to keep going about my day. And it may be a year from now, I'm like, oh, that was it, because everything has to fall into place, because this isn't just about us, this is about we, and we are all collectively ascending together, and all the moving parts need to be in alignment for things to shift and things to occur. So it really is a gift when we are being shown these things, and we can start to tap into our intuitive powers and then just witness the magic unfold. And when you can live in that place of awareness, that this is really bigger than what we think it is, and that we actually have less control than we think. So if you're going to, if people need to hold on to some sort of control, then I would say the only thing you can control is yourself and the energy that you are holding. And if you can just focus on that, then that is a recipe that will not fail you.
Beautiful. I love that.
Yeah. So please share, Cheryl, with your week this week with intuition, and I would love to see how you are moving through intuition and letting go.
And surrendering, surrendering. That's so it's I would say it was terrifying, but it's not really terrifying. It's a beautiful feeling once you actually reach that level. But to get to that level of surrender seems so eek, it's so um, I don't know
Yeah.
if I could just let go like that. So that's what I've been working on a lot this week, and trusting in the divine timing everywhere around me. All the signs are like just trust in divine timing. Everything is going to be the best that it's going to be, and I just have to trust in that. But as people, as a human, we're just so used to controlling our path. But there's there's a beautiful sense of being when you can not feel in control of every path, because every path, there's an infinite amount of possibilities out there of what could possibly happen when you make this one choice, and it could lead to an infinitesimal amount of different paths. So just allowing yourself to surrender and just know that you're going to be guided onto the path that you are meant to be, and make the right choices along the way to support that journey. That's kind of what I've been working on this week.
I love
And it
that.
does come through a lot through intuition. So practicing, again, it's a practice, your intuition. I am highly intuitive naturally, but I'm not, it just happens. I don't have I don't have that, and I don't want to use the word control, but I haven't practiced enough to make it a part of me yet. I don't know if that makes sense,
Mhm,
but like
mhm.
like all of me, it kind of pops in and out. But the energy, I can feel. I am very intuitive when it comes to the energy of people around me or a situation or what have you. And I'm much better at allowing that intuition to guide me to a path that I know is going to be good for me. So that's also a practice, is trusting that intuition, because it's here to help you reach the best version of you and the highest version and the highest self.
I love that. I love that. So there were a few things that came through and I've already lost it, but okay, let me just the first was when in those moments when we're trying to let go of control and really trust our highest self, what helps is asking ourselves, because at the end of the day, it comes down again to energy. So, is this coming from a place of love or a place of fear? And if it's in fear, then being able to transmute that into love, because that is the choice that we always have. And the other thing that came through, and we can dive into this a little bit more, was what a gift this is that you are going through this, because what I'm hearing from source is that this is just, yes, you've been blessed that you have this strong intuition that has served you to help so many others and will continue to do so. But right now, you're being asked to really strengthen that relationship with spirit. And it is a relationship. And the more you nurture that, the stronger all the energy, the messages will come through, and that you can see things from an even more elevated perspective. So spirit's just being actually really loving and kind to you right now and saying, come and play with me, Cheryl. Like that this
I'm
doesn't have
trying
to
to
be
get to
hard.
that playground. I'm trying to get to that playground, but it's like going through the weeds kind of to get to, because there's so many experience my past experiences have, created all these
Shapes you.
programs. Exactly. And so try to, like, what is serving me, what is not serving me, is where is this coming from? Why do I feel this way? So again, about, just reflecting and just trying to get through all of the things that just no longer need to be there, but they're just so deep, they're so deep. So just trying to get through the weeds so that I can get to this beautiful, beautiful thing. And I can see it. Like, I can see it. It's right there, but it's it's still weeding, going through all the weeds to be able to be
So
that.
let's bring this into like less abstract and more like in a
Okay.
very practical place. So throughout your day, what do those weeds look like?
So I get intuitive hits all the time,
Hmm.
but I don't trust that they're correct, or that I don't trust that they're not coming from um my spirit guides. I'm still not
Okay.
trusting that. I'm because I'm doubting if it's coming from some other experience in my life that's making me see it in this particular way.
Okay, so there's a perfect example of the love versus the fear. So ego again isn't bad. It's actually it's a tool that we use to help us grow, survive, keep us safe, and I'm going to say that the ego does upgrade and elevate as we do, right? Um it changes. So if those intuitive hits are coming from a place of love, even though it may be scary because you don't know how to follow through with that, but you know in your heart that this is something you want and you feel is good and right for you, then that is likely coming from source. So in those moments, I would say Yes, that feels amazing. That feels so good. I have no clue how to get there. And just declare it. That's developing your relationship with source. So, and so have that conversation. I have no clue how I'm going to reach that goal, but that speaks to me. It speaks to my heart. It feels good. So I surrender this to you. Show me. And in that moment, let it go. That is the hard part. That's the surrender part that everyone struggles with. And if you can let it go, and how I got through with letting it go was just really focusing on my energy. So that's when it goes back to that explains why the conversation started off that way, by being in my body and just really focusing on holding my highest vibration. And I've already put that intention out, and I've asked spirit to support me. It's done. There's nothing else I can do. It may not happen now. It may happen tomorrow, it may happen a year from now. Doesn't matter if I just keep bringing my focus and my awareness and being in my highest vibration in every now moment. That gets you out of your head, and it starts to feel like an active meditation. And I think we spoke about that before. So the intention that is connected to a heartfelt place, and then handing it over to a higher power, those are the three steps that are going to allow you to let go of control and let invite in spirit to show you how magical it is. And then when you're surprised with, oh, that just played out like this, then you can invite in more of that. And all you had to do was say it, declare it, and then focus on your energy, because that will get you out of your head of having to do something.
I can
And trust
definitely
me,
practice.
all of a sudden you'll get like the email, the phone call, the invitation to go and do whatever it is that you need to do, because you've already handed it over. And in those quiet times in between the invitation, because we it's not having to chase anything anymore. You've invited spirit to take over, so it will look more like an invitation now. And in the in between time, then that is your time to really go into self love and get to know your energy and just be your best self in every now moment. And that is a foolproof blueprint to stepping into that higher dimension.
Amazing. Thank you so much for all of that guidance. It's definitely meant to come from you.
Oh, well, I'm just sharing through my experience what's worked for me, and it may not be for everyone else, but it definitely worked for me. Like I said, my essence, my energy really is my most valuable part of me. And it's a gift to be in this vibration, and I want to empower others to get to know their highest vibration, and take what you want from it and leave the rest if it doesn't resonate. But and then as you hold these higher vibrations, that's when the gifts will start coming in. So, well, we did that activation earlier, so you're naturally an intuitive. But imagine if you've been holding these really high vibrations, and you're in alignment with your purpose, and everything's kind of falling into place. So imagine if you keep holding this high vibration with being able to let go and just to be in that glow state, what other gifts may start to come through, and they can come in different ways. And it's all through energy, because as you're holding these high vibrations, you're going to attract opportunities, experiences, gifts, people that also hold those high vibrations. And what's coming through right now is, I just want to honor everybody who is taking the steps to embark on this journey, because The reality is the world still, we've done a lot of shifting and I see where it's going. And I have zero doubt that it's just going to keep getting better and better. But the world still is in a very dense, low vibration. So I want to honor everyone who's taking the journey right now, because you are a spiritual warrior, in my opinion, to be able to hold a high frequency when there is a lot of dense energy around. There's still a lot of fear and doubt, and to rise out of it takes a lot of courage to say, I'm not going to entertain this anymore. I'm just going to be my best self right now. And it's not being ignorant to what's happening around, but the only thing we really can control, again, is ourselves and our vibration.
And not allowing ourselves to absorb the whole world's low vibration, because that's, we don't want to contribute to it. We want
Yes.
to elevate it. So
Yeah, exactly. We don't want to contribute to it. Exactly. Like, I refuse. I refuse to go there. It's not that I don't know what's happening. Um, and that's, yeah, that's the gift.
So then let's talk about duality, because I feel like sometimes this is also something that's been going on this week. A lot of people that I've been speaking to, um, a lot of I would bad things or negative things have been happening to some people around me. And for me, bringing it to me to talk it through, recognizing, helping them see that with without without that part of without that part of their lives happening, without that, I maybe lower vibration, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a lower vibration. That's where I want to go with it. But duality, so when things, there's got to be something opposite that's happening to something opposite to something of how you're feeling. So for example, if you're constantly feeling super happy, there's got to be something that's going to come into your life that might make it seem like it's difficult, or that you're not going to feel happy, that it's going to bring sadness to you. Just for example, simple example, happy and sad opposites, that duality. But recognizing in those moments that that is there to help you recognize, or to help you recognize the happiness. If you didn't have sadness, you're never going to recognize happiness. If you're always at this vibration, not vibration, but this level of joy, say, you wouldn't recognize that it was a level of joy if you didn't have something that reminded you that there might be moments that are not full of joy. But it doesn't have to lower your vibration. It's part of the same process. It is just, and so if we can help somebody change a perspective of something that's happening to them that they feel is full of sadness or negativity, to change it, to help them see that this is put in front of them so that they are able to really appreciate that sense of joy, it then that negativity doesn't have to be a low vibration negativity. It can still be a high vibration if they accept that it's part of the process, and it's part of who we are as in experiencing things from at a human level. You know, we need these fluctuations to be able to really appreciate and recognize what our higher selves look like.
I love that. So when you speak of duality and everything that you brought through, for myself, the polarity, duality, and what you're sharing really is the experience that we get to create, right? But what's really behind it is that it's teaching us just how powerful we are, because we truly are co-creating with the universe. And so, because our reality is a reflection of the projected energy we're putting out, it's showing us what we've created. And then we say, okay, enough is enough. So some people go through the dark night of the soul, if you will. We have these hard experiences that hit us. And it's like a wake-up call to, wow, how did I contribute to this? Why am I in this? You can go down this rabbit hole, but at the end of the day, it's it's the invitation to rise out of it. And you're right, as you rise out of it, and then you finally can breathe and you make it out of it, and you're in this higher vibration, you can look back and say, look how far I've come. Look, and now I'm holding this high vibration, which is it's my reality again, is a reflection of what I'm projecting in this now moment. So I've created this experience and I've created this experience. Look how powerful I am. And as I become aware of this, that I really am co creating with the universe just through my energy, wow, that's empowering. I don't need to go there anymore. I've been there, done that. And I'm glad I had that chance to do that so that I can inspire others outside of their dark night of the soul. And I can now choose to hold this high vibration. What if this now is my new normal? And what if there's something even higher beyond that? And so to keep exploring what that is the relationship with our high self and seeing like, I'm truly that powerful. I am generating this energy and creating these experiences just by tapping in through my conscious awareness and using the tools from teachers such as yourself and other people that come into our lives to teach us. And when I say teachers, they aren't necessarily just people like yourself who've done the conscious work and you're a leader and you have all this work experience, but children, nature, because we're all part of one field of intelligence. I learned so much through my children, and so that is how we really, well, I'll just leave it at that. Um, I don't know how that reflection supports what you just brought through, but when we're looking at polarity and duality, again, they're just, for me, they're experiences that we create. And once we awaken, and sometimes it can be really shocking to people that, holy geez, I am responsible for this. Like I need to sit in my own energy. My own energy maybe isn't that, it's low vibrational, it's dense, it's icky. And but to deny what it is just going to delay the wonderful possibilities that can be if you just go in there and do the shadow work and listen to that intuitive guidance and, okay, this situation sucks right now. I can only control me. What can I do for myself right now to not fall into traps of programming, like such as victimization and all that other stuff? It is what it is. What do I need to see in this now moment? And how can I make things as best as they can be so that I can go to bed tonight and sleep well and just face it tomorrow and again just tackle it little by little until you're eventually out of the muck.
Right. Right. And not allowing yourself to stay in that experience that you're having. Like you have to, like you said, we have control over only us. And I read something really interesting, and it was very much common sense, but it was put in words that were just, well, I've never thought of it like this before. But we don't have control over our first thought. It just happens, but we always have control over our second. So
Mhm.
we are always able to react or respond in a way of our choosing, of our own choosing, to any situation. And if we so then recognize that this is happening, what can I learn from this? how can I use this then to help get me out? And it could be micro steps out of this situation that you're in or this feeling that you're having, but taking them, being grateful for those steps, recognizing being, showing grace to yourself that you are taking the steps to get there, and knowing that once you get to that other side, you're going to feel free and full of love and in this uh, like a feeling of bliss. You're just going to be free of all of this. And knowing that you conquered whatever situation that you were in, it's just going to help skyrocket you to a whole other level of vibration or energy, So every time you take these experiences, learn from them, grow from them, it just skyrockets you to a whole other level.
It totally does, and that goes back to that empowerment, so as we master our vibration and and keep exploring what that is, it really does transform our reality, and it happens a lot quicker than we realize, and I'm gonna say it's gonna happen faster and faster because the more of us that are holding this high vibration and we're supporting one another, it is gonna be a quicker process for everyone else who starts to jump on the ascension train, if you will.
Well, and if you allow yourself just to embrace those times that are put in front of us to help us learn and grow, if you just embrace them as that kind of situation or process, then that's you're already starting at a different energy
Mhm,
instead
mhm.
of looking at it from a place like, why is this happening to me, or why am I going through this, asking all those questions. That's a much lower energy that's not going to help you even be able to, well, you're never going to be able to surrender, because that's just wouldn't be anything that you'd be capable of in that kind of low energy. But the more that you can look at it from a different perspective of, there is so much that I get to learn from this,
Mhm.
it it just automatically starts your healing from a different energy.
And what came through as you were speaking, in those really hard moments, and somebody may start to ask why. So, and why, unfortunately, energetically is linked to a little bit of that victimization in those lower frequencies. It can hold a different vibration outside of that. But um, if we can shift our why into a what, I feel like that opens a door. So what it is that I need to see in this now moment. What is it that I need to let go that is not serving me right now? What can I do that will make me feel just a little bit better right now, even if it's just going for a nap or listening to a guided meditation or going for a walk? So if we could shift our why into a what and hold it in a vibration of love, that is your next right step. And I think that it's important for everyone to really that little switch from a why to a what is the key to getting out of those really dark places.
Brilliant.
You-
And it
Yeah,
is, that's your second thought. What can
yeah,
I do right now?
yeah. I love that you said that. It's not your first thought. However, I will say, as you hold a higher vibration, sometimes that first thought is an intuitive hit, and then you're like, where did that come from? So,
Yeah, I would still say it's I mean, it's given to us for sure. It's
yeah.
given to us, but it's not a control our controlled thought.
Right, right, right. Because it's either a program or an intuitive hit, right?
Right.
So, which is one's coming from ego, one's coming from our high self. So I'm glad you brought that through because that's absolutely correct. And then it's now an invitation to practice discernment. Is this coming from my high self or from my programming? Does this serve me, does this not? So you're right, the second thought is more of an action,
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so that's amazing. I love that you brought that through.
Yeah. I mean, all week, it's been a lot, just through lots of conversations with different people this week. It's been something that's really been top of mind because, and, because I had mentioned a lot of people seem to be going through some more difficult times in the
Mhm.
last couple of weeks. And, just being that person that people tend to go to for, guidance, or, just that hold space for them. It is something that's it was very top of mind this week. And it was good because I was able to help these people shift their perspectives in those moments to say, and I probably use the what without intention, but I use, what can you do today? What can you do in this moment to feel better? Or what can you learn from this situation? What are you going to take away from this? So there are a million whats that you can ask in those situations, but it's been, I think, very helpful for a lot of people to really change those perspectives this week.
So that there's your intuitive guidance that's coming through. Like your strong intuition, you truly are a guiding light to so many. And I'm I'm just so grateful that you are here to be that guiding light for others. And there was something else oh yes, when you said about this week, there's no such thing as coincidence, and we are all part of a universal energy. And Mercury is in retrograde. And I don't know if
Mhm.
anybody is aware of this, but that is when like reality, like you're it's like the universe is hitting you with things that maybe you didn't want to look at. It's like that boomerang, and all these lessons and information that you didn't want to look at starts to come at you. So this is why it feels pretty intense right now, because energetically we are being forced to face things that we otherwise may want to just set aside. So it can feel intense, and there have been some solar flares too that have coming through. So we can't overlook the energetics of the universe and how it is really interconnected. And again, it's also a gift. It's showing us how we are ascending collectively, because I'm going through this and somebody else is going through this, and when we're doing it as one, it feels stronger. It feels more it's strengthened in numbers. My,
Absolutely.
my frequency is going so high right now, so if I'm stumbling for words, this is something that's an ascension symptom. That I find it's hard to formulate words because the frequency, it like literally affects my mouth. It affects my whole vibration is just so high that that's in those moments that I need to really ground the energy. I'm just sharing this because it really, there's somebody else may be experiencing it, and it's like you're looking for the words, and but you're so high that you're living in a language of frequency, and that has no words, if that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah, just talking about the solar flares, I feel like you did that.
Skyrocketed out of here. That's so funny.
So much fun. So you got to do you do attunements and activations? Is this something that is part of your life? Because I'm feeling that this is something that you're going to start to explore more and more of. But I just
Oh,
wanted to tap into that.
I am definitely looking at going to explore this more. So thank you for this morning, because it was beautiful right before this call. I do meditate a lot. I do a lot of guided meditations. So I do those types of things, but the activations I haven't. No, I have not really explored. But it felt very different than a regular guided meditation, and
Can you
um,
describe that so that people can?
it was just a. Uh, when I meditate, I'm in the here and now, and I feel relaxed and calm and all of those things. With this one, I felt, how can I explain it? Like I felt connected and like uh a a buzzing, I don't know, like a um tingling, like kind of everywhere. It was not a peaceful, like calm, relaxed. Not that it was like crazy and that I was like jumping up and down or anything, but it felt like I was that there were like little electrical sparks, like here and there. Does that make sense?
Yes,
But
it's so I love it. It's a beautiful description.
I
Sorry,
feel like, but
I'm
I
just
felt,
so giddy because that's exactly it. So when you're in a meditation, that is more like an attunement. So you're connecting to yourself. Oneness is generally associated with peace and love, and attuning to a frequency. So, but with an activation, it does just that. It activates something in you. So it is hard to describe, but you can just feel that something's happening. This is different. And it's like lighting you up. It does feel
yes,
electric. It feels like things are
electric.
being turned on. And that is an activation. So I hope that this conversation inspires people to start doing more activations because that is a really quick way to start shifting your energy and raising in vibration. And there are so many videos out there, people that do these activations that can channel these energies through, and you do feel different. You have been activated, and just knowing that something's happened and it feels good. So I'm just going to roll with it and keep exploring more of that and seeing how I shift over time.
Right. And also have the practice of surrendering it during those activations, because it is you. eh, So there's moments where I was like, and then I was like, and then, so, it's just still a practice, and it's okay that you can't completely surrender, but the more that you practice, the more that you will be able to. And those moments are just so exceptional. Like they just feel so right.
Oh my gosh, I love that you said that because it is true. Sometimes you're like, it feels like it's coming outside of you, but it's really activating from within. And it's that kundalini rising, right? And it's fun to explore it. So yeah, do more of it, surrender, because we're what are we really afraid of? Let's go into this. This is a perfect example of the shadow of like, ooh, what's happening? Surrender. But what is that fear? If you really are to dig deep, it's the fear of the unknown.
Oh, it's
And
a fear of the unknown, absolutely. And letting control of that unknown take over part of you.
right.
It's
Right, because the
that
fear of the unknown. So, what does the ego do? That's the control part. The ego keeps us safe. So, what is survivable is repeatable. So, I've only known this and I know I can survive this. So, I'm going to keep more of this. If you want to ascend and actually truly transform your life, you need to be open to new experiences. And so, there is the invitation. If this feels good, then it can't be bad for me, right? Unless there's a little voice behind your head that's saying, well, maybe this isn't so good for you. But then go back to, is this a loving energy? And if it's a loving energy, then yeah, invite more of that in. Why not? So with that, is there anything else that you would like to share, or any words of wisdom or any aha moments that came through, um, that you would like to end this call on?
I just look forward to a whole other part of my journey with this activation. I'm I am very, very excited, and I can't wait to just continue my practice with surrender because um, I think that is just going to really, really help lift me up that much more.
Amazing. Well, I am all about you raising as high as you can
There's,
and
there's
keep
no limit.
I love it. I love it. And yes, I think that the activations are a great way to end this conversation. And I look forward to doing more activations with you because it is so much fun to feel alive and activated and to hold these really, really high vibrations. So thank you for having this conversation. And I look forward to our next one.
I always look forward to the next one. Thank you so much. Mwah.